Welcome back to In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Charla Brown, and if you are just tuning in, we've been talking with the Alzheimer Society today. My guest has been Deanna Bassell, and she's the Public Education Coordinator. And we've been talking a little bit about, if you're starting to be concerned that maybe yourself is exhibiting signs, or if somebody that you love is. There's also some really great online self-assessments as well. So maybe we could talk a little bit about those.
Sure, yeah, there are online assessments. Our view at the Alzheimer Society is that you cannot rely on them singly. You need to still seek a doctor's opinion. Because there are many medical causes of dementia, that online assessment won't be able to pinpoint that cause. So if you think that taking this online assessment, seeing the results will get you to go to the doctor, then okay, that's a good idea then, because some people will refuse to go to a doctor. So if that helps you, then that's okay, but never fully just rely on that online assessment. Also, there's privacy considerations to take into consideration as well, because you're putting your personal information on the web.
That's right.
So definitely, because dementia is so complex, definitely seek a doctor's opinion.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that really leads into my next question is that, if you're concerned about a parent or someone in your life showing signs or symptoms, that can be a tough conversation to have. That person might be, nope, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm whatever, but you're really concerned that there maybe is a problem there. How to maybe some tips to start that conversation with that person.
Right, it can be a difficult conversation. Just depending on the relationship you have with that individual. Some people would be understanding if you just say, well, mom or dad, I've noticed that you've been doing this lately, and maybe have some examples of situations that have occurred recently. Not an exhaustive list, but just a few that might be eye-openers, because maybe they're just not aware of what's happening. They're forgetting that they've done these things, or they're just in denial, so they're ignoring them. Maybe they've noticed themselves, but they're too afraid to talk to someone about it. So hearing you are aware of it, then maybe that'll help them to go to the doctor. Some people will leave a pamphlet on their parents' coffee table of the 10 warning signs that we provide at the society, and having them just look at it, maybe they'll notice like, oh, I'm starting to show these signs, and that could be a conversation opener. There's many different ways to go about it, but it can be quite difficult. But I think if you just say that I'm here to support you, I'm not saying you have Alzheimer's disease, I'm just noticing these changes, let's work together, let's figure out what's happening.
And like we mentioned before, it could be a lot of different things. It's just knowing what it is, and then knowing whatever the right next step is once you know that. So,
exactly, yes.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about the programs and services that you have to help people living with Alzheimer's or dementia.
Sure, we have a great list of programs. The first is our counseling. We have 2 wonderful social workers on staff that support people living with dementia and their care partner through counseling. So that's a really great avenue for them. They get to have education and just someone to help them throughout the journey. It's good to have someone on your side.
Absolutely.
So that's a great service we provide. We also have public education. I myself is a public education coordinator, so we provide education to the public, to professionals caring for people living with dementia, and we really want to reduce that stigma, so that's what we're there for. We also have support groups for people living with dementia and for care partners, because people find it very helpful to be in a room with people that are going through similar situations, and they can develop friendships and just be themselves in these meetings. So that can be really beneficial. We also do lots of fundraising events, because again, we're a nonprofit. I run a program called Minds in Motion. It's a program for people living with dementia and their care partners. They go in 8-week sessions. They're 2 hours, and you do some exercises in a chair, get the body moving, and then the next hour is cognitive stimulation. So we'll play some games, do some socialization, just get together and have a good time. So that's a really great program we have.
And let's maybe go through some of those activities, because those are things that probably that you're going to learn to be able to use long after that program is long finished. Is that probably the whole idea of going through the program?
Yes, our instructors are always saying, you can do this at home on the sofa, or you can do this when you're preparing supper. They always try to encourage the participants to do these exercises at home, because being physically active is very beneficial for people living with dementia.
And maybe let's talk about some of the beneficial activities that for people who are living with dementia, in terms of just, being able to have a the best quality of life that you can have.
Right. So again, providing them activities that they still love to do is so important. You might have to modify the activity a little bit based on their strengths and weaknesses, but still provide that activity that's meaningful to them. I was just talking to one woman who she called her mom, who was living with dementia, and said, I have to cook all these pizzas. Will you come and help me? Because her mom loved to cook pizzas. So her mom came over for the night and they made all these pizzas, and her mom was so happy helping her do this activity because she felt very useful and very happy to do an activity that she loves to do. So as long as they're doing activities that they enjoy, that they're being physically active, going for walks, being who they were is so important.
Absolutely.
Especially, and being social, getting out there, socializing with their friends, or arranging for friends to come and visit. Very important to keep those friendships.
Absolutely, for sure. And let's talk a little bit about programs to support families and caregivers. So I know you had mentioned some, but I guess that would be just as, can be just as stressful for somebody who's got a loved one in their life, that they've got this diagnosis, and just learning, what that means.
Exactly. We have a great program. They're called the Learning Series. So if someone's been diagnosed in your family, you can take these learning series. They're about 4-week sessions, and the social workers run them, and they go through the disease process. They educate them on what to expect, and they talk about certain topics that can come up throughout the disease. So that's a great opportunity for families to learn what to expect, because again, education is so powerful. So that's a great program we have for families.
And is dementia and Alzheimer's, is that primarily a hereditary condition? Is it something that anybody can get?
Anyone can get dementia, yes. There are genetic links and genetic components, but anyone can get dementia.
So I guess, is there any preventative things that each of us can do? We talk about, brain health. Is there things that each of us should kind of be doing just in terms of our own brain health? Because, your brain is a very important part that, we lots of times think about our physical health. Is there things that everybody should do?
Definitely. There are definitely things you can do to reduce your risk of developing dementia. So that is being active physically and socially, challenging your brain, doing those Sudoku puzzles, crosswords, whatever activity you like to do, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. Keep your brain active, eat a healthy diet, watch your numbers, watch your weight, your blood sugar, your cholesterol, because the healthier your body is, the healthier your brain will be. And definitely protect your head. So if you're doing any sort of sports or outdoor yard work, protect your head and reduce your stress. Stress wreaks havoc on our memory and our brains. So try and find those ways to reduce your stress as much as possible.
Oh,
very
great.
important.
Wonderful tips. Well, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to be right back with Deanna and talk more about the Alzheimer's Society.